welcome back to my channel all about sustainability, travel, and whatever else happens to get thrown in. Today I was hoping that we could have a little pick-me-up. I think a lot of us are feeling a little down. We had to cancel our summer vacations. I know that I personally had to cancel my trip to Alaska with my family, and I'm pretty bummed that we won't be getting to see grizzlies and orcas, and I can't take my wonderful, beautiful camera to take photos of them. So I thought maybe instead of us traveling in person this summer, I could take you back to the Galapagos with me on my trip in 2017. So let's dive right in. What you just saw was footage that my husband and I took on our honeymoon in the Galapagos. Not exactly conventional, but exactly what we wanted. And let's be real, how many people can say that they danced with sea lions underwater on their honeymoon? Once we decided that we were going to go to the Galapagos, it was then needing to pick out the tour operator that we were going to use. I wanted to make sure that they were one that was sustainable, environmentally friendly, and left as little footprint as possible in such a pristine location like the Galapagos. So, did a little research and came across a brand that I think you'll recognize. When you think of nature, when you think of photography, when you think of environmentalism, who do you think of? Nat Geo. Nat Geo actually hosts cruises out in the Galapagos, and I knew that is exactly who we wanted to go with. I think for this video, I'll probably do kind of an overview of our trip to the Galapagos, but you'll see with all the pictures that we're going to be going through, there's a lot to cover. So I think this will be an overview, and we'll do small little chunks along the way of other videos. So let's dive into it. When you think of the Galapagos, what do you think of? Probably tortoises, probably sea lions, probably just untouched life. And you can't forget the boobies. For me, it was tortoises and Charles Darwin. And we saw plenty of tortoises during our time in the Galapagos. We saw them on the island of Santa Cruz, just on the side of the road. And then we also saw them at the Charles Darwin Research Station. Of course, when you go to the Galapagos, you also are thinking of the iguanas. There are there's a few different types of iguanas, but the two that we saw a lot of are the marine iguanas and the land iguanas. We even saw one called a weirdo, which was actually a cross between a land iguana and a marine iguana. Our guide got super excited when we saw that because it's not something you see all the time. There are also different types of boobies. I had no idea. I had only heard of the blue-footed booby before. I had no idea there were red boobies and Nazca boobies, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a booby here, but those are the ones that we saw, and it was so neat. You can even see in one of these pictures a booby landing on the head of one of the people that was a passenger on our boat. And of course, you can't forget about the sea lions, or lobo marinos as they called them. They were ridiculously playful, and I've got a few photos and videos of them as well. We went hiking every day. We went snorkeling every day. It was an exhausting honeymoon. There were also some things that we did that didn't involve wildlife. Who would have thought? We went through what's called a lava tunnel, which was a tunnel formed by lava. We went to a place called Post Office Point, which was an old post office, essentially, on one of the islands where you would leave a letter for somebody and the next person to come in would take that letter if they were going to where that person lived. And we actually did take a letter with us, and we dropped it off at the house of the recipient. We took panga rides, which are those little zodiac boats. We would take them for rides around the island. On a couple of them, we saw some penguins. That was really neat. And then we also did things like visiting a coffee farm, and we visited a school to see what a school is like in the Galapagos. Everything was full of photography moments, which isn't very surprising when you think of the brand Nat Geo. They are known for their photography. The crew included actually a photographer / naturalist who helped provide kind of tips for wildlife photography while we were out there, and it was incredible. So I'm happy to share all of these photos with you during this video and in the subsequent videos because I just can't get enough of the wildlife in the Galapagos. Of course, we had to do some scuba diving while we were in the Galapagos. Now, the snorkeling with Nat Geo was fantastic, but I don't think anything beats diving in the Galapagos. So just due to planning and logistics and not really knowing the timing once we disembarked, how long it would take to get to our destination and all that jazz, we had a day open and we were looking for a tour operator to take us diving. We were going with Scuba Iguana at one point on the trip, but we had a day open, so we said, why not dive? Well, Scuba Iguana was full, the other big diving spot was full, so we found somebody at a smaller operator, seemed very safe. They took us out on our open day with one other passenger, and it was so cool. We did that dive on a spot called Seymour, and then the next day, we went out with Scuba Iguana, and that was a big to-do. We went to this place called Gordon Rocks, and you needed to have 25 dives logged before you're even allowed to dive there. The diving in the Galapagos is pretty chilly, first of all, and there are very strong currents, so you need to be a pretty decent diver to dive safely in the Galapagos. And actually, before you even do the first dive, they make you do kind of a checkout dive where you go to about 10 feet, they make you flood your mask, they make you take out your regulator, put it back in, to make sure that you will, at the very least, be able to handle an emergency situation diving at Gordon Rocks. I was looking forward to going to Gordon Rocks especially because they were known for their hammerhead migrations. Unfortunately, we saw not one hammerhead on that dive, but the feeling of being surrounded by fish was so incredible, it made up for it. That is still my favorite spot we have ever gone diving. And we've gone to the Great Barrier Reef, so I think that's saying something. And that's just an overview. It was the trip of a lifetime. Honeymoon seal of approval. I could go on forever talking about all of these different things, but I want to know what you want to hear more about. Do you want me to do another video on the tortoises? Do you want me to do one on the sea lions? Do you want more diving? I'm very happy to provide more diving footage. Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of the travel videos that I'm doing, just like this one. In case you missed it, last week I did a video about the Elephant Cafe in Livingstone, Zambia. Highly encourage that you watch that video as well if you're interested in just travel in general, or specifically eco-sustainable tourism, because both the Elephant Cafe and the trip that we did with Nat Geo here in the Galapagos are perfect examples of that. In fact, that might be a good video. I do have some pictures that I took of kind of eco-sustainable measures that the boat that we stayed on for Nat Geo put into place. So I think I would like to share those with you in another video. So be sure to subscribe, stay tuned, let me know in the comments what you want to see, and until next time, take care.